Welcome back, guys. In this video we are going to put a 2.5 inch leveling kit on the front of my new F150, and we're going to go over what that kit looks like in a second. But first I just want to go over that I absolutely hate the rake stance that they put on these from the factory. They just look like two-wheel drive trucks. I really don't like the way it looks at all. As you guys can see from the thumbnail, the rake is pretty bad. Let me get a tape measure and show you exactly what it is. As you can see, the rear is 40.5 inches, and the front, which is pretty difficult to kind of get the center of the wheel, but because I got them turned, not a big deal. We're looking at about 37.5. So if you guys do the math, that's 3-inch rake. That's a lot. That's a lot. I haven't decided yet if I'm going to do spaces on the rear. I'm going to put the 2.5 in the front just to see how it looks. 2.5, according to the website, raises the front of the truck 3 inches. They tell you not to go any more than 2.5 on the strut pucks, because then you change the geometry on the suspension too much, and then they advise you go with a lift kit. So 2.5 is the max. I don't know if it's going to cause excessive wear on the front end. We're going to find out. If it is, I'll take them out, and then we'll go with the lift. But for now, they were 50 bucks, and it's worth a try. What the heck, right? So I had lift pucks in my last F150, which has been on this channel a lot, and I like the way it sat flat. I didn't put the lift in it. It came that way. I think it was a factory installed lift, and I think it might have been a 2-inch puck instead of a 2.5. I'm not 100% sure, but it towed fine. It didn't squat in the rear when I had a load on it, or trailering. So I'm hoping that this one is the same. We'll see. If it is, it is. If it won't, it won't. All right, this is the kit. It's made by MotoFab. It says you should take 1 to 2 hours to install. It did come with directions, so let's open this thing up and see what it looks like. And of course it says spacer thickness and lift amount, not a 1-to-1 ratio. So if you ordered a 2-inch spacer kit, they'll measure less than 2 inches thick. And so this is a 2.5-inch spacer kit that I have here. As you can see, it's pretty thick, but it measures 1.5 inches basically, and it's supposed to lift it up 2.5 to 3 inches. I think it's 2.5. Hopefully it's 2.5. And the kit comes with the necessary hardware you need to mount it, and it's cool. And it's actually mounted 2.5. So it gives you directions. I did review the directions a little bit off camera, and I don't understand the way the directions go. I'm not going to use the directions. It tells you you need to dismantle the entire thing. I'll go over the exact orientation of these directions when we take the front wheel off. All right, guys, so the wheel's off, as you can see, and the directions say that you got to pretty much take everything apart. They want you to take this ball joint out. They want you to take the stabilizer link out. They want you to take all the brake lines off. They want you to remove the caliper. They want you to come in here and remove the actuator. They want you to remove the steering link, and then they want you to pull the dust cap, take the bolt off the drive shaft or the CV axle. They want you to push that back out. They want to disconnect everything and basically take the whole knuckle off. I honestly don't see that being necessary, and I'll tell you why. I could be wrong, but I think if I take the bolts out of the low control arm here and let this whole thing sag, I think I can get this out. If I can't, I can't. If I can, I can. There's plenty of room right here to weasel this thing out of here. So I don't really see why I need to disconnect all that stuff. It just seems needless. So I'm going to try. I'm just going to take the 3 bolts off the top here. 2 bolts on the bottom. 2 bolts back there. See if I can't get this thing out of here. We got a little bit of rust on here, and I want to try to get some of it off of the threads if I can. I already hit this with I already hit it with Blaster. Just to get some of the rust off, so it'll come through cleanly. Okay, as you can see, I have the back two off, the front one's just finger tight. I can just take this off by hand right now when I'm ready. That'll keep it from falling. And I had to use this little ratchet to get the back one. Made it easier. I don't have a ratcheting box wrench in the 18mm variety, so that's what I used. All right, so the inside is a 21 mil, and the outside is a 27mm. If you guys can see that right there, 27mm. And I'm going to use my impact gun because I'm sure this is on pretty tight. Now, I don't know why the directions don't tell you to disconnect the lower control arm, because when you realign the front end, this is where your adjustment is, in and out for your toe. Not your toe, your camber is in and out, and it's down on the bottom here. So it's got to be loosened anyways when I bring it in for an alignment after I put these in. So, I mean, it's not like we're doing anything wrong here. There we go. And I'm going to use a rubber hammer for this. I'm probably going to need to take this end link off. Alright, to take the stabilizer link off, you got to hold it with a T45 and a 21 mil. I broke it free with my impact gun, but it's spinning inside, so you got to hold it. Alright guys, now it's nothing fancy. I got to connect it to the back of my four-wheeler here. And there's not a lot of pressure on it. Just pulling it up out of the way so I could try to wiggle this up and out. Yep. Alright, we're at the bench now. Here's the hardware. Here's the strut assembly. Here's the spacer block. Now the spacer block can only go on one way. And as you guys can see right there, it is a 2.5-inch rise. It only measures 1.5 inches, but it's supposed to raise the truck up 2.5 inches, which will put us with 1 inch of rake, hopefully. We'll see. Alright, so let's this only goes on one way, but I think first of all we have to put the hardware in here, which are these screws right here. They have to go down inside of here, and I am going to put some never sees on these screws because I may have to take these out eventually. I don't know. I'm thinking probably not, but doesn't hurt to put a little bit on there, because these are actually the screws that are going to mount to the strut bucket. So now we got to put these nylocks in here, down inside of here, so that we can mount the puck onto the strut. I'm going to put a little bit of never sees in here, because I'm almost positive that we are going to collect water inside of here. Drop it down inside. Start them. Okay. Now, one thing you gotta understand or realize is that in order to put the puck on, let me just try to tilt this up so you can see it. The pattern is 180 degrees off. So we need to rotate this 180 degrees in order to get it to line back up. Now the problem with doing that is these are in the wrong angle. So what it tells you to do is hold them in a vise and then twist this until this angle is on this side. So that's what I'm going to do right now. All right, slid it down in. You can see the bottom is there. These should line up perfectly with the top. I'm going to clean it off a little bit up top, and I am going to try to get this in. Now the directions tell you that you need to knock those pins out, those bolts out of the back. They're pressed in. Knock them out and then put them back in after. It makes installation easy. I'm going to try to get this in without doing that. I might have to suck it up to the top here first, but let's try it. I don't want to have to do any more work than I really need to. So we are an inch and a half further down, so we may have issues. Let's see what happens. All right, guys, I found out that with that 2.5 inch spacer on top of the strut, I can't get it in the way I took it out. I need more room, so I'm gonna have to disconnect the upper A arm from the ball joint. I've already loosened it. I'm just gonna whack that with a hammer, and I need to support underneath this with a jack so it doesn't go crazy on me. So let me whack that with a hammer right now. And release this. There we go. And now I should have what I need to get that strut back in. All right, we got him in down there. I'm going to try to tap it a little bit. See if I can get it to seat. There we go. Gotta get the other side. All right. Now that it's seated, I should, in theory, be able to just lift that upper arm out of the way with a cheetah bar and be able to just push this right up and in there. Hopefully. Bolts on the bottom of the strut here. Just loose for now. We'll tighten everything up later. Just so they're in. Now I need to get this guy up and get a couple of bolts started on that, or at least one anyway. So let's get going. See if we can't do that. And I apologize if it's hard to see anything because there's really not enough room here. Plus, so I'm gonna do the best I can. See if you guys can see. All right, guys. I snugged up the bottom down here on these. The top is in, and they're just snug right now. This was not easy to do. I'm sorry I didn't video it all. I just have these bolts slid in. I had to use, I had to support the truck on that jack stand, and I had to use 2 jacks, one on this end and one on that end, to maneuver this to get it to go up and in. It's actually in there now. There's no real tension on any of this stuff here, so nothing really got damaged. Now I just got to jack it up enough where I can get the ball joint back in and finish reassembling and then tighten everything down. So let's see if I can't give you guys a little bit of that video. Try. All right. So we're gonna have to put a big bar on that. Push it down to get that link in. Not a big deal. We have the technology. There we go. Just to show you what I did. There's my bar. And I put it right up there in that piece of the frame. Push down on it. There we have it. The unlink is in. Everything is in. We just need to put the nuts on the bottom down there and tighten it. I don't know anywhere close to what this is supposed to be for. Camber or anything like that. I just have no idea. So we're just gonna have to get it close. So technically, we're at ride height right now. Well, not ride height, but the suspension should be where it needs to be. And as you can see, where the camera's way in, and we have plenty of adjustment here. So I'm just gonna let it down, eyeball it best I can, and then check it. All right, guys, I went and got the front end realigned, and you can see this is the before, and it was out pretty bad, and I did the best I could with a level and a tape measure to get the toe right and the camera and all that. It wasn't too bad. If you look, it's not too bad, but now it's all green, and it's where it needs to be. This cost $100, so I had that on top of the $50 I paid for the spacers, and I basically did a level kit on this truck for $150. It's been about a month since I put the level kit on here, and I want to give you guys an honest to goodness review of what I think this level kit is. I would have probably, if knowing now what I do know, for this year truck, I probably would have went with a 2 inch or a 2 1/4. I wouldn't have went with a 2 1/2. 2 1/2 is the max you want to go on these, and it basically it puts the suspension almost at a full, not the shocks and struts, but the A-arms are at a full, almost, they're about 1.5 inches to 2 inches lower than they would normally be. So you don't have that mid-range travel that you would have with your standard dip in the front. How does it drive? I noticed it right away. It definitely drove different. Horrible? No. Did I notice it? Yes. Am I used to it now? Yes. Would I do it again? Absolutely. Would I go 2 1/2? No, I'd go 2 1/4 or 2 inch. It still kind of dips a little bit in the front, but I don't know. I think it looks good. Anyways, I just wanted to jump into the video right here real quick and give you a 1 month update on how I think this thing works on an F-150, and I guess it works pretty good. And for $150, you really can't go wrong. This really isn't a how-to video, because it's suspension, it's modification. I don't want anything to come back on me. So it's a look how I did it, do as you please. I'm not telling anyone to do it my way. Follow the directions, follow the manual, do it right. I just gave you an idea of how I did mine, and I got it done, and I didn't show you everything because I don't want to show you everything, so nothing can come back on me. Anyway, truck's done. The stance is much better, much better. It just looks more aggressive. It doesn't look like a 2-wheel drive truck anymore. It looks like a 4-wheel drive truck. And eventually I might put wheels and tires on it. Now I can go up to 33s, which is nice. I don't think I really want to go 35s. 35's too big. Anyways, it's all done. I want to thank you guys for watching. Like, subscribe, share. I'm going to do undercoating on it next, and I'll video all of that just to show you guys how I do it. And if you guys want to do it yourselves, feel free. But once again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.